So what
Damn, me and Mac are on the same wavelength.
what happened last session?
Well, a lot actually. I had to compromise this stuff, but we did a lot as we were dealing with the fallout of the war, as we all know. Uh, Sadly, it began with the assassination attempt where Fiala, Lady Cassia, her cousin, and of course Alexei all were ushered into a bunker. So we were there for quite a while, the beginning parts of what had gone down. Well, while there, hanging out and relaxing a bit as we prepared to hopefully let our detail give a sweep of the location. Maybe we'll be out of there in a jiffy. It was the original thought process as Alexei revealed to Fiala his dislike for Cassia and her cousin, mainly for her actions as well. Though things would get far more worse as outside of that, while we were in the bunker, Scott and Daniel are on the way from bringing down the holy war that was on the precipice of beginning. They were able to push it back or buy some time, essentially, as the house went back home and they went to Yorth to meet that envoy, talk about what was going on, as that was the original plan, before they saw the laser come from the sky, pierce the heavens, and come down, and then, attack Yorth, take out their shields, and the city was, well, under siege, essentially, as they were able to maneuver to on a safe location enough to get close enough to the city, as well as try to coordinate with other teams. Daniel and Scott trying to understand what's going on. As Scott was able to get in contact with Nick's team, who revealed that everyone is in disarray. No one knows where Lady Orpheus or Lord Orpheus are at. There's news of nobles being taken to, marched off to one location. People are getting killed in the streets. No one has any idea where everyone's at, and well, there's a limited time to get things done. Though eventually they did find out, of course, through one of the Nyx's men, as they were able to get in contact with Orpheus's forces through Daniel's and Scott's efforts, that they know where Lady Fiala and Lady Cassia and everyone else is at, essentially. With that order given out to go rescue them and escort them out, Scott and Daniel discuss what to do. As Scott knowing, the nobles are important as well, especially since the envoy is there. Even with the news that they found Lord Orpheus, but he is injured and more likely surrounded, what decision do they make? Scott decided the best option was to go after the nobles, and Daniel would stay here as well and defend, as well as hopefully get them a shuttle out, essentially. Like I said, Fiala and the other ones trapped in the bunker were unaware of what was going on. Mostly only had a moment of shout foundation and shaking of the outside world, essentially, as Cassia would go out to check with her the detail to see what's going on before she would be attacked. We were able to stop it in the nick of time and pull her back as we waited before eventually someone banged at our door to get us out and escort us out of there. There was a moment between Alexei and Scott where Alexei demanded that he will not leave his friend Silex behind. Even he will escort the others, but he will not leave them behind. Even with Scott's words, he just shut him off and determined to save his friend. Yeah, well, regardless of the hiccup, Alexei did keep his promise to get us out of there, as Scott went off to go find the nobles, putting himself in danger and going through a very tough battle, almost nearly dying. Though he was able to get enough help from the envoys with his own men to take care of the face dancers in the way, or the army in the way, essentially, and even getting a bit of some vial of something to help with the wounds and more like the poison that he was under. As well as Daniel was able to invigorate his men and stop from the barricade of other forces on his way, and get some wounded out, as well as get the shuttle working to get close to where Scott and the rest were at. Everyone was able to get out, though we had to be a bit pragmatic, as we had to get out before hopefully another attack from the sky, essentially. While that's going on, Alexei was able to get the rest of us to safety before he turned back. Even knowing the danger, he was not going to leave his friend behind. And so with a heartfelt goodbye, Fiala, who couldn't really go with him, went back with the others, as Alexei went charging back into battle and hopefully finds Silax. Everyone made it back to Heraklion, many wounded, the shuttles hopefully locked down. Brick out there being, I guess he got promotion, someone gave him a promotion somewhere, as people were being taken care of. Anton had stepped up to help the wounded as well, even though he had concerns about the assistance of Fiala, the Bene Gesserit. She was still going to be used to help with that as well. And of course, Daniel got in contact with with Dennis to start the next phase, take out House Charybdis immediately, since now war is upon us. There's no way to step back from this, essentially. Yeah. While that's going on, and he was coordinating as well as trying to get support for any resistance left over in North to ensure that they cannot take the entire planet and make sure they'll pay for everything that they've done. Scott had a moment to break down with his wife as the turmoil of what's been going on, nearly losing his life, and even probably from the sadness of his wife came upon him as he kind of fell. I think they had a moment together as well, essentially. And once it sucks afterwards, work had to be done as he went out to take care of those we could and be the support for the people. A day or two would pass before Alexei returned, bloodied, driving a land vehicle, and with the body of Silax. Apparently, from what Alexei would later tell us, he died along the way, or at the very least in his grief. As that was going on, we tried to tell. Well, Alexei woke up very upset when he found out that Skylights was dead, and went off to go do harm to Cassia. Apparently, from what the last few words of his friend were telling him about what she is, a bit of Gesserit, and Alexei was going to take her out, even though Fiala tried to beg him not to, or to at least listen to her, maybe talk to Scott or Daniel, anyone, before he acted so rashly. He wasn't in the mood to hear that as he ran off to go fight her, and Fiala, having no choice, decided to use her voice to stop him. And in that moment, he broke down, taken to custody, and Fiala was also very much hurt. Cassia, once hearing the news of what Alexei's problem was very upset, and more so with Orpheus's Silax's last words as one last fuck you to her, as in her mind, I believe. And she would later on go to Daniel to demand, like, hey, I was gonna help my husband out and do this whole thing for them. Well, no, he can go fuck him. Essentially, I'm done. I'm gonna go home. You guys can do whatever you want with the body. Even with those words, Daniel would of course understand the need to make sure this is a very tearful moment to show support for what needs to happen, as Cassia would make her leave and go back home to under the walls of her family, essentially, while we were all dealing with that fallout. Like I said, Scott had to sit down and talk to Alexei, who was put down and locked down a bit, without his weapons, of course, and then was able to breach Alexei's stupor, as he seemed to be very much heartbroken about what was going on, and talked to him. And they had a chat, mostly about some of the things that's been going on, and try to give him some hope to keep going on, as he seemed to have had his whole world rocked for a while. There was even a moment where Scott, after talking with him, reached out to Fiala to speak with him, to give him, just talk. Fiala was a bit reluctant, more so than usual, but she decided to go ahead and talk with Alexei, mostly to determination to make one final decision on her part, as she was almost, at the moment talk with them, Fiala was almost going to end their relationship then and there. Whether she felt guilty or for some other reason, she was able to stop herself from making that decision with Alexei's words and decided not to. And they had a moment of, a tender moment, basically, afterwards. While that was going on, of course, Daniel also talked to Anton, who revealed another or real conspiracy and all the workings on the behind scenes, as they revealed that not just the Bene Tlaxu, but the Bene Gesserit may be involved in all this, and more likely, regardless of what happens, they have a winning side, because if this all falls down, they will swoop in to help and place their own agents in place. It's something that they refuse to let happen, as well as the fact that they've been pulling some strings to ensure certain victories, and then they believe House Alos is a key corner in that, and wishes for his assistance in what's going to be coming down. Daniel agreed, as well as Daniel reaching out to speak with Fiala to ask her what her loyalties are, because what happens next may ensure that she may either lose more than she gains. And regardless, though, Fiala had already made her decision and pledged herself with, I guess, Daniel's cause, or what would involve keeping Alexei, essentially. I think that's where it ended there, with decisions to be made and a war to happen, as well as, Charybdis' attack, and now having the leader in his custody. Hopefully that means more information for the war effort.
Indeed. So, what would be next?
So, be two things. Have we been informed of the events in Lumen, or has that not been made aware to us yet?
Literally gonna happen in like a day or two.
All right. So the first, Daniel is going to begin two projects. The main one is the arming of the resistance that's still in Yorith. I think that's very important. And the second one is working on the propaganda war. We have a murdered lord to honor and, well, our own proclamation to make.
That is true. And that's gonna be like a communicate like that.
Communicate. All right. We'll communicate.
For shits and giggles, can I assist with it? Like help write down.
Roll me 1d20.
Let's see. No, I don't think any of my focuses apply negotiation or deceit.
Deceit might work.
Depends how far are you gonna like push the truth.
How much farther could we push the truth?
And as far as you want, I guess. As far as you think might be beneficial.
I understand that like I could lie, but I'm like going to like people like they've been accused of being led by face dancers. They've killed a woman who was pregnant in my own house a few months ago. Like, what more could I accuse them of? So I don't think.
Do you
I don't
know
think
what you can accuse them of? You'd be like, hey, what if there's much more conspiracy? What if the Bene Gesserit are behind them? What if the Emperor sent them?
I feel like that's a bad idea.
Yes, might be. Might piss off different people.
That's a bad idea. I think Anton specifically said, it's great that more people didn't hear the rumor that Cassia's a Bene Gesserit. That'd be horrible.
Yeah,
so let's not.
Horrible because if she is, then they know that you know. You can be like, hey, Master Kosh is actually just a Bene Gesserit plant. But I feel like that would piss off the Bene Gesserit. But if it's good enough, you might fuck up Kosh mentally. I'm just saying, you might fuck him up mentally. But that's gonna say, if you don't wanna like bullshit people,
I'm not gonna do that. I will though by a threat because that lets me reroll a die.
And I succeeded in my.
And I can reroll that d20. So so that's 3 successes.
Yeah, you make a decent speech as you organize the funeral. You have kind of like capitalize on the death of Thylax. What is like the official stance? Is it just the official stance that House Draco is controlled by face dancers? The attack on Yorith wasn't like terrorist. It's just a lie. It's all just a facade for.
Yeah, that was a lie. That the Benetalaxuk are in control of House Draco, and tie it together that the reason why his own wife can't be here to mourn him is straight up just accuse House Draco's patrons of killing my daughter-in-law while she was pregnant, so she could not be here to mourn him because our villainous opponents have proven that they will kill pregnant women before.
Yeah, I would say this counts as a war declaration, where you are in the right. Are there any political statements you wanna make?
I'd imagine I'd want to get the House Hall representative to sanction what we're doing, because then we're not engaging in a legal uprising. We are engaging in a lawful opposition to tyranny.
We are restoring order.
Yeah. Basically, anyone who's actually supporting House Draco, all the traitors, they have betrayed their vows. They have betrayed, and that the only way that they can essentially remove that stain is to begin to resist Draco and their Talaxu patrons, benefactors.
At this timeline. Yeah, no, it's fires all war surely recruit. Yeah, I think I think it's pretty much most people are on your side as well, Draco doesn't take kindly to this response, that's for sure. But that's to be expected.
There's a tiny note in our speech that was sent to Draco, and it says, "P.S. Fuck him."
Yeah, no. Some pins here. You will kind of like have to take we'll have to gather some forces, right? See how which nobles to forty. But I think like at this point, other than that, war declarations as yeah, no, Anton's endorsement of you definitely helps basically grant you legitimacy against the usurpers who use you foul play. Yeah. Why can't I just, you know what, I'll just drape them in your house call.
Oh, what's going on?
I'm just updating the map a bit so you kind of have like an overview of which cities are friendly to you and like confirmed friendly. Cities might still be neutral. Definitely have the Vodniks, the Revenoms. You have Nyx part of this. As anything else after that declaration? Any discussions you want to have? Maybe Foxman should do the.
Yeah, Daniel would gather a council of his advisors, which includes Dennis, and Brick, and his son, you know, and well, and the Bene Gesserit, Fiala.
Gather all of them together. After this declaration and the funeral, the ceremonies are done.
The next move should be to. Next move I'm considering. There's still fighters in Eurith, men loyal to Orpheus, Nick soldiers that were left behind. If they can be armed, if they can present an obstacle, if they can be organized, we can force them to keep men down in Yorith. Not to mention, if we let them have the free hand in Yorith, they can reach us, they can reach us, they can reach House Artorias, they can reach just about anywhere in the city from Yorith. It's anyone on the planet from Yorith. We can't let them hold it without contesting it.
I agree. It's too important to let go without a fight, and it will bog them down. We can also reinforce them with survivors who know the city during resupply drops. How would you recommend us reorganizing? How would you recommend us collating the force without giving away their position?
We'd have to organize them into separate units, cells. Trying to centralize them would invite them into danger, and it would make our resupply more difficult. There's also the fact that we can't risk the resupply being fired upon by their ships in orbit. It's better to have these units act independently.
Yes, sir.
And as I'm we'll look at you, Scott and Fiala, if you have anything to suggest.
With he's gonna look at Fiala and then like kind of grit his teeth a little bit. With your permission, I would like to send Alexei to escort Lord Charybdis to Nyx. It gets him out of the city after what happened, and it gives a strong individual we can trust to escort him and other protections.
Right. I do not know of war, my lord. I mean, infiltration and careful movement at the very least. How secure are we sure about this Charybdis fellow? Will his allies try to end his life or try to track him in some form or fashion?
He's a loose end. If the Talax can kill him, they can put a puppet in charge, organize resistance. As long as we have him imprisoned, House Charybdis is an extension of us.
Dennis will speak up and says, we sure we want to waste Lord Vodnik's time on escort duty? When the armies march, need the best fighters on ground. We might
Dennis, can you
also
trust?
endanger him by assigning him a mission traveling between cities when there's a spaceship in orbit.
How confident are you in your people's ability to get the Lord to Nyx?
It's how much resources they commit to taking him out. There's always the chance they get found out, then killed from orbit. I don't think there's any blade that can deal with that.
It's your decision, Daniel. I've stated my piece.
We'll keep Charybdis in Cyrax for now. What are we doing, Grant?
What are we doing there, Grant?
What are they doing? We're in city?
No, you said I see what you're doing.
Oh no, I said that to what Tech was like. Send Alexi there to escort him because Alexi's like immune to bombardment. Like what?
Yeah.
I mean, he just like you think that plot armor extends to people. It doesn't. He doesn't actually have plot armor.
Yeah.
He will just die if you.
Daniel is gonna look at Dennis. Keep him in the city. Keep Charybdis in his city for now. As well as that, our operations destroyed much of their capabilities. See if there's I want you to send a message to the Hades and Nixmen that we have in there, remaining in there. See what they can recover. There might still be potent weapons left in the ruins.
My
Not
my
Dennis.
lord, Dennis, yeah. I know we are on the defensive right now, but are there any? Will we be making any attempts to locate Kosh, or just defeat his army first?
Until we can ensure where we know the exact location that Kosh is in, and we can weaken his defenses, any attempt on his life is likely to fail. That man is likely the most defended man on Azor right now.
If
My
he
lord,
is,
on
then-
a
If he is, I assume he would be located in Castrum itself.
Indeed. But Castum's a large city. Many places he could be hiding in it, and Hades' men were purged from the city.
I don't think there's any way to assassinate him at this time.
my lord, if I may, I would like to talk about the defenses of the city.
Speak.
Couple things from what we were able to analyze about the attack on the city. There were those who infiltrated them, and those who were able to gain access to the shield generator to cause problems, as we know through us being there. I would like to put our most trusted men at the shield generator for obvious reasons. I would also like to start immediately beginning barricading city roads to make it harder for people to invade us through conventional means. Maybe even push the refugee population into helping us with this effort.
Daniel will nod. Scott, I trust that you and Brick can see that the city's defenses.
Dennis kind of like looks at you, Daniel. There is a way we can weaponize the refugees, if you so wish.
I think if it's white serpents, it would just be a delay effort. You're you're sparing bodies for time, which I know.
Why should we house the refugees here when we can send them over the spaceport, log up their streets, and create more paranoia that we might try to sneak people out, make them divert their attention? Well, of course, this would negatively impact the people themselves. I doubt they will receive much aid there. Maybe many of them will be killed once they get desperate enough to riot. But keeping
didn't
them
rescue
here
them.
is... We didn't
Dennis,
rescue
I
them.
respect. Dennis, I respect your opinion, but we did not rescue them just to let them die somewhere else. We have a workforce. We can put them to work, restoring defenses, helping with communications. We can revitalize some of
How
the
are you?
factory here.
You realize the moment you let them stay there and let them, makes it easier for us to be breached, makes it easier for us to be sneaked in. Not to mention, we don't have the medical supplies, the food. It will be a drain on our resources, our very little resources.
Daniel, that is your call. I've said my piece.
Daniel takes a deep breath. I think it would be ill-advised to give up the propaganda value that we have been able to extract from the attack on Yorth. We send these people to their deaths. Doubtlessly, our enemies will make use of it.
Dennis nods. We're not sending them to their deaths. We're sending them away from the front lines. After all, when the White Serpents march on our cities, where do you want to put all those refugees? Surely it's best to move them away. Where should we move them? To Cyrac, a ruin? Or the spaceport, which is still standing and quite in good health? I'm sure you can.
How many refugees do we have?
I can't give you there's a lot of them.
A lot of them, like a ballpark estimate, I would say.
Oh, now I have to think about
Thousands.
demographics. Yeah,
1,000, 3,000.
I'll say at least like a third of Europe.
A third
wow.
of Yorth. All right.
Yeah, you saved a lot.
We
of
did
people.
really good.
Yeah.
All right. We will do this. We will make a pronouncement that with the threat of the city, they are still in danger located here. We will move those who are willing, provide them transport, assist them to the spaceport where they are out of the fighting. And those, though, who wish to stay, be trained, fight, they will be allowed to do so. There are people of fighting age in this group. We can extract some military means from them before sending them to safety. That would be all the better.
Also invite who knows how many face dancers straight into our ranks.
I thought we cleared them.
I think the thing is there's way too many to clear.
What? You clear them with what?
Fair enough.
Y'all is one person. Then.
Yeah, Fiala can go to like your court and your like inner circle. Thousands, probably tens of thousands. Like,
I do not like this. But we will inform them. They do have to be. They are at risk here. With the Earth under enemy command, Heraklion is one of the cities that are directly connected to it. They face danger if they stay here. We will do what we can to support them. But they will have to leave for their own safety. I would say everyone can tell Daniel is very much against this, but the logic of it is sound, so he's going to do it.
Do you want me to inform the populace, or will you do it, Daniel?
I will inform them. I was there with them, most of them. Well, I led the operation, ultimately. I will speak with them. I will make the announcement.
Dennis will flat out ask you then. They also send agitators, insurgents with them. Would prove vital, distracting forces.
As much as I'm against it, it wouldn't be the worst thing.
Send it with them.
Awesome.
Now, forming and stirring up the resistance in Yorith. We cannot let them control that city uncontested.
Of course not.
Only standing army you still have left. Let's deploy them. Are the Artorias battalions.
Yeah. I think last session we did talk about arming the surviving Orpheus and Nyx soldiers.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
they're
we-
like at the best like guerrilla warriors. Like then they're not like Artorias is like an actual battalion that can like you can move them around damage like properly. You can go on the offensive with them.
All right. We could.
armor resistance, triggered uprising, have Artorias support it conventionally.
Yep.
We could. Do we still have any groups of assassins with us?
There's like assassins. It's not like there's not that many of them. Nick lost a lot of people in both Thyrak and Yorith.
Daniel, with the uprising happens, we could keep those here just for our defense, or we could put them on the offensive Earth and go through the officer corps.
Problem is, you would know is that up until now, you fought like I would say clearly not the elite force. When the White Serpents rolled in, they fucking steamrolled through shit. You fought the reserve units, right? Because they had the
Auxiliary.
whole they had the pretext of oh no, these aren't us. These are our soldiers as the White Serpents fucking marched in and basically slaughtered everyone. So
Fight.
it's not gonna be
Fighting
as
a
easy.
Fighting a straight up fight is not the way to
No.
fight the White Serpents. We have to get them at their weakest and then attack.
We can armor guerrilla force, weaken them, sabotage them. Nyx assassins could hull through the officer corps as well as they can. Wait for them to be properly weakened, wait for them to move more men out. It's likely Artorias' men might be better as a threatening agent right now. They either have to move men to engage with Artorias, or they'll have to keep more men there to guard against a possible attack from them.
All right. We'll see what their next move is. If we decide to go on the offensive with Artorias, will we trust House Artorias to lead that, or will one of you or me take command of that assault?
Their own army. Like guys, just trust me. Like no, you can coordinate with them.
We would
Alright.
assist them.
We would
But-
assist.
Yes. What would the role be to start arming and trying to organize those survivors into a resistance in Eurus?
That would be could be discipline, could be education. Like discipline for you with the leadership focus.
Our threat's at 1 right now, right? Or is it at, like, what, 2?
3.
3?
About 1, yeah.
Alright. Did we get any momentum from that
No.
thing we... Okay. I think I'll use a determination for this, using power, and I think I'll spend 1 threat to get 1 more die. Does that sound good to everyone?
Yeah.
Yep.
5 successes.
Yeah, so as you begin to, as the meeting presumably is adjourned, unless someone else wants to add something. And yeah, Daniel, you begin seeing like plans as you have to use the transit rail system to actually like send in, smuggle in weapons disguised as basically a relief aid, as your men will have to, just before the transit system, basically like the train arrives, you have to jump out and then like infiltrate the city. But it's not really an easy task, but with 5 successes you actually managed to pull it off. That's like what, momentum?
Nice,
So
nice.
yeah, you at the very least Yoreth will be emboldened, and while they can't fight openly, they will make sure that that's never truly their city, right? Always there's a risk. But as days go by, bit of a lull in action, news does hit that Lumen, in fact, will attack quite heavily, as some of the spies Hades has and reports to. Not only did they deploy an armed, but like a full-on battalion of White Serpent Lumen, they deployed their tank unit there as well, which means they really want to like get rid of them. And
Does Lumen still hold?
and will fall within like by the time Hades doesn't believe when we'll make it, we'll have like 2, like will last long. Let me just roll, see how good his espionage. Yeah, so basically Hades would inform you that Lumen, depending on how good their command structure is, they can last anywhere from a day to maybe a week at most. But not looking too good.
What support could be arranged for them?
From you? Not that much, unless you're willing to just mobilize your entire like arm, like all the armed men in the city and just send them there. But that's like sending them to die more.
Yeah.
Depending how proactive the battle is, maybe if they last long enough, you probably
Yeah.
take advantage of this
I will
somewhere else.
send a message to Damocles, because I understand that that's his
Yes.
daughter is the ruler.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll send a message to Damocles that agents of House Alios, trained smugglers, are at the ready if he needs his daughter or anyone else in the city pulled out.
I'm sure you could probably like, maybe given a couple of days, set up a small network of spies and informants, some like smugglers to get in the city, get them out. Um, as news then hits you that you could see the bombardment from just clear out military structures. Their city shield generator apparently was either deactivated, destroyed, something happened to it. And as far as you know, the noble residence was hit first, leveled to the ground, ruined. And the city, yeah, fell like in 2 days. As the white serpents make their way in. As the reports keep coming in. And of course, House Draco declares this as a first glorious victory against the unjust rebels. Reports from both Dennis and Haiti come in as not as clean as Draco would like you to be. It's actually quite messy. Apparently, the city has pulled out a full-on similar situation to yours, a full-on resistance. Apparently, whoever managed to organize these people did a spectacular job, and even the civilians are basically armed and ready to oppose the population. This is not a second Yorith. This is in fact just a swamp for them. They will never get that battalion of troops out of there. So as far as you're concerned, 1 battalion of White Serpents has been taken off the board. So
I think it goes without saying Daniel would want to funnel more arms, more material into this evidently successful resistance so
the
far.
problem is that there is no way to do that, unfortunately, because there's no transit system connecting this to the city. And if you send people countryside, you risk them getting blown from space or getting caught and shot by the air units. It's at the moment there's too much forces in that area to concentrate it to properly assist.
Right.
You could assist yours because of the connection with the transit system. They haven't blown up, right? So it makes travel very fast. But at the very least, reports are rather gruesome. They've leveled not just military buildings in the city, and now that the civilian the civilians and remnants of the army fight back, it's gonna be a slaughter in that city. They've also destroyed a lot of the countryside. It's very messy. More reports come in, the more messy it looks. And there is absolutely no news of any of the Kairos household being alive.
But there's nothing of them being dead either, right?
No, House Draco hasn't confirmed any kills yet. Although it will take time to recover the bodies underneath so much rubble.
Daniel, if we still have spies there, why don't we could use this as a propaganda tool to show them what the cost of a Draco victory would be.
We could do that.
Beautiful landscapes, dead population, a city in ruins. And they actively are bragging about this victory.
Also backfire, I will remind you. Demoralize people. Matter very much who spins the story better.
It's just a thought. It is your call.
I think Daniel could do it.
2 versus Master Cop, so.
It's a communicate roll, correct?
Yep.
Can I assist?
At that point, I'll use assist as well. Counter roll between Gosh.
Right. Yeah.
Nope.
All right. buy one threat because one threat basically guarantees me a reroll, which means that might as well. Yeah,
You can spend one momentum on dice.
I will. So one momentum and one threat. 3 successes, and I'll reroll that 16. Which does that mean that is that success if it meets the number?
Yeah,
It says-
if it the number or lower.
Right. So yeah, that's
That's
4 successes.
About the XP.
Yeah.
Very least avoid the complication.
Oh, god damn it! It would have been so good.
Roll the 20, yeah.
Oh fuck! If they failed and got complication, that'd be so funny. God damn it!
Well, they're a bunch of stupid doo-doo heads.
Listen. Ooh. So you got 4 successes?
Yes.
Yeah, that's not enough. As you engage in this kind of like propaganda war at this point, as you kind of make the case of what a House Draco victory looks like, and this definitely emboldens your own people. That's for sure. Like the civilians living in your cities, your allies, your soldiers, everyone is just dusted at this. The problem is that he spins it a bit better as this is what happens to those who betray their house, their liege lords, and never surrender. They were in fact given so many opportunities they could have surrendered. Instead, not only do they fight against you, they arm their civilians. They push the civilians to die in their name. Imagine the disgusting person you would have to be. Just tell your civilians to just die. And in fact, they bombed their own buildings. Like they did this like scorched earth. In fact, it's them. It's their fault. We tried. They forced our hand. Guys, if you just like cooperate, it doesn't need to be this, but fuck with us. Yeah, we're gonna wipe you from the earth. And that
sounds like a convincing argument to people who already believe in them.
It's also a convincing argument to people who are sort of on the fence. As in light of this news, well, there's two. There was still one Charybdis loyalist, so that was pretty much not gonna support you now. But the two neutral cities, they've recognized the legitimacy of House Draco and will not support you.
All right, they'll die then. Rip them out by the fucking roots then. They've made their choice.
Yeah.
I didn't even know they had cities.
They're too afraid of going against Draco.
Doesn't matter what their reasoning is. They'll die when this is over.
Like one of them being like an actual House Ruvinum vassal, so to speak.
So this house decides to betray their liege lords and betray the people who actually control the planet. Damn, they'll die.
Oh, Daniel's not taking that well.
No, because it's worse than if there was a strong reason behind it. Dan would understand, but this is stupidity. There is no winning for them, even if Kosh wins. So they're just idiots.
Fear does a lot of things to people. And yeah, reports do indicate that there's battalions heading Heraklion. Only a matter of time until they get here.
Immediately, Daniel, Scott, Brick, and Dennis are in my fucking office. We are planning the defense.
Now you could, there's an option here for you. You could sabotage the transit system. When you do that, you will also cut off your way of accessing Yorith, but you also will at least delay their troops by a considerable amount, gaining you probably anywhere between a week to 2 weeks. Unless they take the other route, which is through the spaceport, but then you can blow that one up as well.
I'm going to be shot down for this, but Scott would be against it. We can't just supply our troops and then cut and run the second it gets hard. We leave those troops we've just been supplying hanging. But I know it's not going to be a popular opinion, my lord.
What's the opinion from my other two advisors?
Dennis,
Brick and Dennis.
It's like, I want to survive. Just blow everything up, save ourselves. Brooks very I would consider him a coward in this. It's like, no, I want to live. Fuck the other cities. But Dennis with a much more pragmatic and evil outlook, so to speak. I would still call him a pragmatist. Have you informed Dennis of your actual true objective of making sure that this war drags for as long as possible?
Dennis will be informed of that, yes.
Yeah, then he would say, Lord, isn't the goal to make sure that there is an adequate amount of wartime instruction? Right now, I see Heraklion being as a next focus point after Yorith. It means that our enemy will try and concentrate their units here. Will no doubt endanger, maybe even destroy most of our city. If we blow the transit systems, we force them to reconsider. After all, there's much more important targets once our value as a nexus goes out.
Grund, how feasible of a plan would it be to... So we're going to blow the transit line.
Yep.
How feasible of an idea would it be to rig the explosion in such a way that it kills a whole bunch of
It'll be a
Draco soldiers?
I'll say it'll be like a skill test.
Yeah. What would I be rolling there?
I would say battle. This is a battleship.
Battle?
Either battle or
Alright.
discipline, I feel. Move maybe,
Discipline.
but move sucks for everyone.
Yeah. I
Maybe
did
Fiala. Actually,
pick
Fiala,
up.
Fiala could actually. Fiala could, if you give her the bombs, she would be able to place them just fast
Yeah.
enough before the trams come and then get the fuck out. The only problem is then that Fiala would have to also make her way back and dodge some more.
I don't like that. I don't like
I
the
can
sound
do-
of that.
Instead of being coach.
Question. I did, before the start of the session, pick up the espionage focus. Would that apply if I roll discipline here?
No, like this is much more like there's no, you're not infiltrating. Or
Is
you're
this is this like a leadership focus if we choose battle?
be a leadership focus, yeah, like a team.
Could do some stirring rhetoric. Give you an extra die, Scott, if you feel more comfortable than. What's your battle?
6.
6. My discipline is 7.
Dude,
Would
It's
he be
whatever-
able to assist me if I roll it?
I mean, technically, if you roll, yeah. I still think it would be like the surefire way to just inflict. So if you use Fiala, the damage is guaranteed. Like there's no way they can dodge that, right? Like she literally puts the bombs minutes before they get there. If you do it like this, it will actually be a counter roll on who can strategize better and coordinate better, right? The only risk with Fiala is then that she has to get the fuck out of there, which is again another move roll, so depends who you want to trust here.
That puts a lot of risk on our Ben and Gesserit, which is one of our best assets.
Trust her. Use both her and Alexi. Alexi also has 7 move. I think.
Think if I roll discipline and Scott helps me, I think that's the go-to here.
I will say that my discipline is not great.
Because I would also remind you, she has like both the focus for herself. Like,
Yeah, the thing is, if I help you in battle, though, that's also worse for me, even because my battle is full 4.
All right.
Actually, could I give him Stirring Rhetoric and then also help him with rolling a dice?
yeah.
All right, first I'll do communicate. Hey, what drive are you gonna go with here, Scott?
This is probably a duty one.
Duty, all right, that's not that bad for me.
Is this worth using momentum?
Well, this is just a communicate roll right now.
Oh, the communicate roll?
Which is still 3 successes, so you get the reroll. And then I believe I can help you now, which I just roll a battle and one of my things.
Yeah, single 1d20.
Just a single dice. All right. So you have 1 extra success, and you can reroll, and we have momentum to spend.
How much momentum do we have?
1.
How much that do we have? 2. 1 by 1 threat, 1 momentum.
Yep,
then
we'll do that.
And then you do have the reroll.
All right. Is this worth a determination, or do we want to wait for the battle?
I suggest it's worth a determination because this works. This preempts a good part of the battle. Because not only would they be delayed, they would have lost a good part of their men.
So 1 determination, 1 threat, 1 momentum, 4 dice plus 1 reroll. Do I have it all understood? Plus your 1 success. All right, let's go. Let's do this.
Oh,
Ooh, can I reroll any with him? Nope. There's no need.
Jesus, 3 crits. That's 8 successes.
Do we get momentum? I feel like we get momentum.
I think they still have to roll. They still have to roll.
You gain no momentum.
Yeah.
No matter how well.
Damn.
Again, the success here, if we get really good and they fail, that's a lot of dead men.
Question is, are you blowing both avenues? Are you gonna like go with Dennis's idea where you like isolate Heraklion?
I'd actually ask. Well, I'd step in with Dennis, and I ask him how are those agitators doing amongst the refugees, and this would be maybe a more private conversation. I wouldn't have this around Scott. Because
would this inform your decision? Like the agitators have been sent.
Because if those people are ready to riot, and we can rally them and make them really mad at how, and then the military of Draco comes through, not to help them, but to just basically go and inflict more suffering.
Oh yeah, but that's
start a riot at the spaceport as they get through, and then also still blow up the rail after they handle the riot.
Problem is you're blowing up the connection between your city and the spaceport, not the connection between the spaceport and Yorith. Like, let me show.
Well, I know we're blowing up that connection, but the idea is I want those men to get to the spaceport before we blow it up, and then they get sucked into the riot. The idea is that they get hurt by the riot. Are they already there, or are they going to be there?
No, they're there. They've been sent alongside with the refugees.
In that case, yes. Oh, I'm meaning like when are the White Serpents gonna get there?
Whenever the riot starts, like fully, it's gonna take probably like at least.
All right, because yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to blow the rail, and then the White Serpents have to get sucked in with putting down a riot, so that battalion can't just immediately shift back and go do something else. And yeah, and that gets even more civilian blood on Draco's hands.
I'm just not seeing how like I wanna make sure I understand what you're trying to do.
They can't just push onto our city.
The idea is if we start the it if we blow the thing before they get to the spaceport, the riot won't be as effective for holding more men down, because then the majority of the men can just turn around and go home. I want them to already be in the spaceport when the riot starts, and then we blow it. So they get sucked into this anti-partisan effect in the spaceport.
Problem is they're probably, yeah, I mean, yeah, you can do that. The problem is right now they plan on sending the battalions to the shorter route, not the long route. And if you can only do this trap like once, right? Because then they'll like know, oh, okay, they're really desperate, right? So up to you.
Okay.
There's also the risk if you blow one of the routes, the refugees be like, holy shit, we're being cut off. Okay, guys, let's go back. Because now we know that the war will come through here. So you also risk that to delay the north one.
Okay.
Like they will get bogged down. They will have to send people there anyways because it's a spaceport, and if they lose that, then you can send messages through the outside, and then they are truly royally fucked. Because you can be like, hello, Mr. Hala, Mr. Helheim, can you please send in the fucking cavalry?
Okay.
Like the clock is against them, right? So they want to have a tight grip on the spaceport. This is why even having a small riot for them is dangerous, and they'll probably choose to murder everyone there just to ensure that nobody else tries this again.
Okay. I understand now. I thought they might be doing a two-pronged defensive. I misunderstood that. Then in that case, Daniel would still be in favor of blowing both of them.
Yeah.
If those we can't risk those refugees coming back here.
So yeah, you organize people, and this team of saboteurs, you kind of like manage to coordinate thought with them, as this will be rather dangerous job for them. But you manage to figure out, as you disguise all of them as like train engineers, as you send them into the field, always keeping a close contact with them. And as you think the best way to deal with distract the enemy, provide a bigger target. You just load up. You'll send like multiple. I think multiple teams are like the best way to do this. Some teams are decoys trying to cover up for the actual saboteurs. As luckily for you, managed to trick the enemy, as the decoys do get the attention of the actual the air unit that is basically ruling the skies. And as the decoy teams get bombarded into oblivion, which, well, lose some men, but losses in war are sort of unavoidable at this point, the saboteurs do plant the bombs, manage to get away with them scot-free, as trains go, and they did not expect you to cold-heartedly sacrifice some men, as by the time you get the reports, the transit system has been, in fact, uh, completely obliterated, and plenty of white serpents were caught in the ambush, as you inflicted quite a lot of damage, not to mentioning delaying them severely. As this action has nullified one more of their allies.
There we go.
I will say that you have no more, like, the infiltrators, spies, and other agents you have are, you can, like, it's like a dozen of them. It's like so few now.
Yeah.
You've kind of exhausted that completely.
Yep.
Yeah, I would give that report to Daniel as soon as I got it. But it was a success on the casualty cost.
Daniel will look at the names of the operatives who died, commits them to memory. Successful operation, then.
Yes, my lord.
How many battalions does the House Draco still have? Because I know they only lost 2 of them now.
And they have 3 left.
3 left. It's... Yeah, okay. That's good.
The
That's
war
good.
is definitely, I would say, going in your favor at the moment.
Yeah. And, hey, I think there's going to be a riot at the spaceport here soon.
Yep. Now people are desperate. You realize that way out is cut. And your agitators do their job. As a day later, Dennis comes in with the reports. Massive slaughters, riots in Arsh, completely blocking all traffic, forcing Draco to redirect many forces and take severe actions, and basically commit the equivalent of like war crimes at this point, as they slaughter and butcher those people there. Thousands and thousands upon light dead. But the spaceport is not doing too great, and Draco's reputation has more or less plummeted.
So we won the
We
propaganda
had to
war.
massacre the civilians, guys.
Listen. They were Elios sympathizers. and
I
we took
can't
down.
believe these villains killed these people in their own city, and then they decided to go finish the job. But yeah, after that, immediately again, Daniel is throwing himself in with Dennis and Brick and Scott. And where is Alexi? Is Alexi still in my fucking city?
Yes, he is, and I don't think he's good to have at these sort of meetings. But yeah, you do
Yeah,
see he's still around.
Alexi doesn't strike me as a grand
No.
strategic mind.
No.
Yeah.
Nope.
So
If
it will be Scott, it will be Brick, it will be Dennis, and it will be Daniel coordinating what they can do to prepare the city's defenses.
Daniel, we have. If we can narrow the streets, the ones that can only fit a handful of people at a time, we could. If they try to take it, we can just. They have to take a barricade, go through the city, barricade, try to blockade some of the buildings. But the idea would be to make it a nightmare for them to get through. And if they want to retreat, they have to go through these crumbling barricades. Try to minimize their numbers and give us the home field advantage with our knowledge and understanding the city.
Of course.
That's with what we have, and that's the best solution I have to deal with the white serpents.
Look to Brick. Brick, I trust your men know the best choke points in the city.
He nods. They come through here, we'll make them pay for each street they take.
Good. We need to set up funnels, kill zones. We won't be able to fit. Even with the casualties they've taken, we won't be able to match them in an open fight.
We could set up traps, explosives, and other things from what equipment's left of the mines.
That's an option. Could have the men scour, see what we can reclaim, repurpose.
Scott looks at Dennis. Dennis, do you have anything to add to this?
Sound plan to me.
I don't know if they decide to send everything, how long we can hold out for.
Did we send? I know the Nyx people aren't like a cohesive unit anymore, but did we send them back to the Nyx city? Or are they still in Heraklion?
I would say they're probably still around.
All right. We could maybe organize what's left of the Nyx's assassins. Have them launch attacks. Pick off officers, leaders. They're not an effective fighting force anymore, but if we can, even if we can only buy ourselves an hour or two of confusion, that could make all the difference.
I will see what I can do. I'll organize what I can.
To give him some threat as information is kind of hard to come by now.
How much
do we have?
0.
0? And we have no momentum, correct?
Nope.
I'm thinking 3 threat, guys. Information would be useful.
Yep, information is power.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, give him 3 threat.
Fucking Christ. It's like 4 crits.
Did you say 3 threat? Oh,
Yeah,
Oh.
3 threat total. 2 extra dice. That's 4 crits. That's 8 successes.
Hades, this is why you will be ascending in the new order.
Yeah, so while you have been busy with this, Hades has been running mostly your entire information network. It's very hard when you have to send out these fucking lone rangers to scout out and send messages. He's been doing an excellent job of it, and the reports come in from the other side of the continent. Apparently the neutral houses have been more or less forced to not be so neutral after they opened their gates to Draco, and have been forcefully mobilized. As there's the two regiments of these forcefully mobilized conscripted, you can say, units are being deployed to Zakros, which is Hades, House Hades city. Now, of course, Hades is not actually there, because no, he's probably he's running around. Hades is basically either in Akrai or just running around in his own little stealth mobile unit, trying to coordinate with people across the continent. But Zakros is the only city that you still have, alongside with Richmond on the other side. So These two will probably take it at some point as they outnumber the defendants quite well, but Hades' option is Hades, like Dorian's opinion is that they will probably get bogged down as he left behind a lot of options for his men to engage in full-on guerrilla war, as they will welcome people in as they begin slicing their throats. Meanwhile, you're also informed of the next plans for the White Serpents, for the remaining White Serpents. They have relocated the tank battalion around Lumen and are moving. Apparently, they have two priority targets right now. One is Richmond, where the Artorias army is. Second is Aquila, which is where the Ruvinum is, who has currently a lot of food stockpiled. So they could probably hold out for a siege quite good, unless someone were to, demolish their shield generator, which seems to happen quite a lot.
I have a sneaking suspicion that's not going to happen to them, though.
Well, I guess we'll see who's better. We'll see if the face dancers can get successes. As well as that the last loyalist house of Charybdis is mounting an actual offense against the city that's the west of Heraklion, one of your allies. That's House. And is their name?
That House Kids?
Yes, House Kids. Thank you. So those are kind of like the current movements that are ongoing.
Okay.
Try and respond, or
Okay.
at the very least, Heraklion has been indeed completely lowered in priority. Nobody's gonna try and mess with right now.
All right. Let me accidentally close the map. There we go. So the most easiest thing for us to aid would be House Kiss because they are very close to us. As it sounds like House Zakros. I mean, City Zakros. It sounds like yeah, they're kind of fucked. But it sounds like letting them get attacked sounds like the winning move.
Hades
regardless,
is in
because
fact, Hades is like, yes, let them in. We will just kill them, and we'll bog down their two battalions with like my defensive forces.
Anyone has the strength of will to resist till the last man, I fucking trust House of Taurus. They seem like they are the actual kind of guys to fight to the last man.
Absolutely.
If they do capture Ravinum, though, they get those food stores. That reverses it. That puts us in the situation where we need to go on the offensive.
So how would we assist them?
Well, as you're contemplating the Fiala, you
Yes.
get one of those notes, those secret braille messages requesting you to meet with someone in the city. Well, the noble men of House Delios run this war.
Ooh. Fiala would tell Daniel. She has made her bed, so she's gonna let him know. Like, it seems her sisterhood has requested a meeting for her.
Right? Daniel will tell you to attend it. The Ben and Gesserit are still a useful tool for us at the moment. We gain nothing by offending them right now.
Very well, my lord. I shall be back shortly, hopefully.
As you arrive at the meeting spot. Now, not the revered mother that's gonna meet you, as the planet's environment have made it rather hostile for her to visit you. But another one of your sisters, someone you've never met up until now. She greets you in the meeting spot. This small house close to the rather abandoned areas, edge of the city. Of course, Smithing is not alone, as the red demon is also present. As you walk into the room, there's an immediate tension you can sense. As always, when you interact with this man, your sister will kind of like nod towards you.
Sister,
Come bringing news, your mother. Seems that the war is ongoing. Like House Elios might be able to pull this off. Of course, you know that the war be a lot of people that need help. Very, very important. Starvation can bring down even the mightiest. Sure that movements of the enemy are known to you, noble lords. I'm like waiting for some form of confirmation.
yes, it seems House Aeolus has prepared for such an event. Their background has been a boon in this.
Such need you to ensure that city of House Ruvinum does not fall the enemy.
I
Make
understand
sure
they have.
to steer the Lord in that direction.
I understand. I'm aware. I've been made aware that they have. Well, it is their specialty. Though my concern lies in exactly what method they will do so. It seems the Lord is. Well, the tactics they are using are desperate ones.
As long as the city holds, you have to try and ensure that the armies do not march upon it. And if they do, the Benetalaxu have a habit of sabotaging the shield generator and blowing the places up in orbit. Must ensure that does not happen.
I understand then.
We can send the Red Demon to guard it, but I'm sure there might be others killed. He's informed your husband, quite a valiant fighter.
Alexei is quite the fighter as well, though I doubt that he will leave the front lines at the very least. Grief has made it so he is determined to see this fight out, and his dislike for Lady Cassia is. It may be tempered, but I'm not too sure.
You don't need to worry about such. But be sure to send him as well. Any other competent fighters you might have. Not home. That food is lost. It will lose more than the enemy.
I understand.
Questions?
Is there any particular reason outside, of course, the. Is there anyone we should try to save if things fall for House of Red?
Having the Lady Ruler alive would be useful. She will be an important ally for us in the future. Other than that, Don't think anyone is that high importance.
Very well then. Is the red demon, from what I've been made aware, his abilities lie in killing only. Does he have any other use for this war effort up that will be used by our order?
Kind like looks at him, nods, and says, "He's been diversifying his skill set, been able to stop plenty of face dancers. Or city of Lumen probably wouldn't have fallen if he was still stationed there."
I understand that.
There's no fighter better than him on the planet left. I would rather have him defending the important strategic place than sending him less valuable. Plus, he needs to learn to obey. As she just kind of like very sarcastically pats him on the fucking shoulder. As you can
Oh,
see,
wow.
like his hands, like his fists are clenched. He's like he's slightly trembling, probably with anger.
I don't think she could hide her raised eyebrow of that display, but she says nothing. Just nods.
Looks at him and says, "You may leave us. Something I wish to discuss with my sister in private." Nods and walks out without saying a word. It's not that hard. Just
I
need
would
to
ask.
know what to dangle in front of him.
I would just ask exactly what you dig in front of him, but I fear the consequences if I do not play my cards right would be dire.
He is no doubt extremely dangerous, but like any rabid animal, very predictable and easy to control. Remember that. It will be very useful for you in the future.
Thank you for your wise words.
Been doing a wonderful job here, assisting House Ellie. Your mother is pleased with your progress, and after this is done, if things end up our way, there might be some considerations made regarding your wishes and things you've expressed previously. Your own competency should be rewarded.
I would thank the Reverend Mother profusely. I understand. My duty is always to the order, but thank you.
That shall take her leave.
Geologist takes a breath before assumably going back to House Alos to inform Daniel and let him know what has transpired.
Emergency meeting. 12th. There, Daniel and Scott, presume.
I assume only Daniel and Scott. I'm not too sure, unless of course Daniel has anyone else he wants to bring.
Most likely Dennis. Dennis is his right hand.
Ouch.
You're my heir. I can't entrust you with certain dangerous tasks.
Fair enough.
And also, you need to stay morally clean. That way, if any of the shit fucking Dennis and Daniel have been doing gets out, they can take the fall, and you can be the fucking moral heir who will undo the harm of our legacies.
Yeah.
Plausible deniability.
When I tell people, if everything I've done gets out, I can say I never included Scott in those wartime decisions and be truthful.
That's fair.
Yeah, but Fiala would tell Daniel that it seems my sisterhood has requested that I ensure that you look to defending House Forbidden and ensuring they don't fall by any means necessary. And if worse comes to worse, to save the leader of the house, if nothing else, for what is to come afterwards.
All right.
They
I was already planning on it. We can't let them get the food stores that are located inside the city. It'll shift the whole balance of the war.
So,
Yeah.
how do we support them?
They have requested that Alexei be sent, as he has the battle experience to defend such a point, and they will be sending the Red Demon, as well.
Given the recent events, and given the Red Demon's proclivities, do you think it's safe for Alex to be sent on his own?
No, I do not. If it were up to me, but
Who would you like to accompany him? So we do have to send some assistance. But with the lines down, we are somewhat limited.
I will be honest, my lord, this will be a difficult question for me. We have, the truth of the matter is, we don't have many to send that we could really afford to. If it were up to me, I would keep Alexei close, but I understand if more the wishes aren't ever, well, my wishes aren't that important when it comes to that. House Freedom cannot fall by any means necessary.
Who do you trust to protect Alexei?
Well, the one we could afford, that man is dead now. And we can't afford to lose Jenik either. There was really no one else. And I cannot go with him.
Daniel? On the last reports, we're not a priority left on the list, are we? The cities around
Seemingly
us.
not. Seemingly not. Them and their allies are targeting the cities that surround us.
Not ideal, but with your permission, I could accompany Alexei. I have experience defending a city from siege, and I have enough neutral experience with all three parties to keep them all in line.
It's all a matter of Kilashin. If they take the city, if that city falls, we could be attacked from multiple angles.
Dennis again chimes up and says, "May I suggest something unconventional?"
Unconventional is how we've been winning the war so far.
Know that when they mobilize their armies to take Kilashin, means that their own city is vulnerable. Send the order to our remaining troops in Syrak. Move in. Take out. Inflict as much damage as they can. Maybe that will be enough to make the others back up. If not, they will lose much more than they will gain. It's for the city south. Are we not working against The Bene Gesserit order?
If venom falls, if the food stores fall, that shifts the nature of the war.
Why don't we just make sure it falls no one's hands?
What is your suggestion?
Get our men inside and set everything ablaze. Blame it on the face dancers.
Daniel, thousands of people are going to die if that is the case. It could be a last resort, but if we do it now, we have to ration the little bit we already have.
Even better. Poison all.
Daniel, you'll be attacking an ally, and if they find out, that pulls out their support.
Isn't Lady Katya the Bene Gesserit? Do you think your daughter gets trained by the order and you don't know anything? Betray an ally? Are you that naive, Scott? Do you think they're our allies?
What happens if Lady Cassia and her Lady Mother falls? Who takes their place?
That's a succession crisis they can deal with. I'm suggesting, Daniel, that the Bene Gesserit tells us to do something. Don't need to comply with it 100%. Sure, we can still send the troops. They'll arrive too late. Saboteurs of the face dancers got in. Already did this job. Or if we poison the food supply, then we can just surrender, let the city fall. Then when it falls and the armies get the food, well, that's an even worst case scenario for them. Who knows how many white serpents will die eating that. We've recovered quite a few interesting toys in the Charybdis labs.
What he's talking about is biological warfare. If we get found out, how do you think our other allies who don't know what's going on are going to take that?
I think using Netelaxu tactics with Benetelaxu tools against Benetelaxu enemies, even if the Bene Gesserit fight, figure it out. What are they going to do about it?
Won't that leave everyone else starving for those who don't have anything left after the war?
Once the blockade is lifted, House Hollow will send in food shipments, surely.
Or better yet, as like looks at you, Daniel says, smuggling might become even more profitable. Desperate people are.
These are people you want to rule at some point, Daniel.
We poison the crops and we smuggle in food supplies, give them out freely for a time. It would make the people more amenable to us. We'd be heroes. At least to them.
People will die, but those that survive will have survived because of us. I think that it's a lot of gratitude.
If they don't find out.
Dennis, you and I will be working on this plan. Scott, you will have no further affiliation with it. If it gets out, it was me and Dennis doing it alone.
Yes, sir.
And I would say, probably, I mean, everyone at the table knows Daniel pretty well. It's clear that he is very unhappy with this, but he grits the teeth. He's going along with it.
I mean, yeah, like Dennis is not like smiling, be like, yes, yes, I enjoyed this. He's just kind of like, this is
Yeah,
Dennis. He's
what I'm
cold,
saying
ruthless,
is,
and
a few, like, half a year ago, Dennis wouldn't have given this a second thought. He would have immediately saw it and go through with it, the logic of the plan. The fact that he had to be convinced to go along with this.
you are kind of getting softened. Your nephew is corrupting you, Daniel. We need to fix you back up. But yeah, no. Much easier for you to sneak into the city than for the enemy, right?
And not to mention, I don't want to. Just throwing this out there. My son is married to the niece of the house leader, which means she's, in the line of succession.
It's a claim at some point. It dies, yeah. Fair point. Yeah, Fiala, but then again, you don't send your husband to just die. So
Oh yeah, I'm not saying that. So you guys could be like, guys, I tried. You can't get mad at me. I did the best I could.
At the end of the day, Daniel decided Alexei was better served elsewhere.
Of course, of course. She's happy about
Alexei
this.
has proven pretty stubborn in recent days. Staying at Urith, experiencing like certain death.
So, are we gonna make the illusion of an effort to send reinforcements and arrive too late?
Yes. Got to make it look like we're arriving to help.
awfully convenient, as you won't be having to. Because normally you'd be like, well, they can just blast us from space, so. Seems like there is a certain underlying confidence that you will not be, in fact, blown into by smithereens from space. Interesting how that is.
Yeah, that's quite interesting.
They still have the air units, though, so sending even like fake forces, you are committing men to die because of this ruse. You could just be like, guys, we were attacked in next to us. Send reinforcements to the city next to us. Oops.
That's honestly a better idea, yeah.
Dennis will actually speak up and say, maybe instead of sending young Lord Vatnik what seems to be a certain death sentence, don't we send him the large detachment of our forces, the Lashin, help the city, help our, so far as I remember, initial trading partners.
Indeed. And we trap the enemy army in between a rock and a hard place. They either have to remain committed to a tougher fight than they expected, or they have to retreat to a city that's just been attacked. Yes. Inform Vodnik that we would like him to help see to the defense of House Kiz.
Lady Fiala would.
Yes.
She will nod, of course, and make her leave unless anyone else has anything to say to her.
You are dismissed.
Fiala, you go to your quarters where you find Alexei. Maybe for once, just thinking about things. As he notices you, kind of like smiles and says, well, any news? Look slightly worried.
I have concerns. War does not necessarily agree with most, I think, but I have been brought to give you some news. At the very least, it seems Lord Alos has need of your skills.
Of course. What is
He
my
has,
task?
he will be sending you to defend his allies, House Kiss, in their city. I believe they will be attacked by supporters of the few remaining supporters of Us Charybdis.
He like nods and says, "It'll be my pleasure to assist them." Lady was honorable whenever I had dealings with her. My pleasure. You can give me a discipline roll if you want to, like insight his.
Yeah.
Like one success. Like, yeah. Yeah, you definitely interrupted like a very long train of thought. As there's also the smell of alcohol, of wine in the room. Lexi is not usually known to drink, like heavily. He doesn't look drunk. He smells of wine, but
There is a look of concern somewhat on her face as she puts her hand on his shoulders. It's like, what has taken your mind, husband? Is everything all right?
yes. It's just a situation. A lot to think about. The war, complicated matter after all.
I don't.
Oh, he's lying.
It's just like, yeah. I don't think he's tell the truth. Like, is this? I wanted to ask. I assume. Is this Alexia in front of her? Because this has been something that's happened before.
Fiala? I don't remember.
No. The when she first came here, there was the strong scent of wine when before meeting Brick and everything like that.
Yes.
God, damn it.
Doesn't smell
Well,
like
at
a
the very
face dancer. Smells like
He doesn't-
Alexi.
Hmm.
Plus wine, I guess.
Oh my god, I'm gonna. Fiala looks. She's not gonna show it on her face, but she is very much not happy about what's going on right now. At the very least, would you like to speak with Lord Alos? Say goodbye to Scott at the very least beforehand.
Of course.
Very well then, I will. If it's all right with you, to walk with you a bit.
Nods. Like
Mm.
grabs his blade on like a jacket and walk with him down the hallway, I guess.
She's gonna have to get in contact with either Scott or Daniel for a second, just to maybe she's just being paranoid. That's maybe what's going on.
Which one?
She's she's bringing him to Scott, so I think she's going to send a message to Scott, or at very least, that she has concerns about Alexi.
What concerns? Do you think he's been swapped? Like
Well, yeah, like the very least, like I said, he doesn't normally drink wine, but she would more like to bring this up about like, do you have any nerves at all, Alexi? Something I know
yeah.
things have been different for you when it comes to.
Like smiles, nods, and says, I yeah, I say I have a bit of nerves, but I doesn't anyone have before such important like low odds. And like looks at you, trying to insight you back. You can try and hide these concerns you have, if you wish so.
She will definitely try to hide these concerns.
Why don't you
'Cause-
give me a discipline roll then?
Let's see. It'll be a power roll. That's all right. No, truth, I think, even though it's not my best.
Fine, it's Alexi. He'll kind of like, oh right, sounds.
Well, at the very least, war has shown me a lot. I have some doubts and concerns, but I don't wish to bother you with them, at the very least.
Wouldn't bother me. Like walk down. I don't know what Scott or Daniel are doing with.
I guess I would be meeting up with her because I'm assuming she told me there was concerns.
Be more specific in that there are concerns message or no?
Yeah, like she doesn't know if this is necessarily Alexi, but it may be just her paranoia. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scott, you meet up with on the hallway. Yeah,
All
no,
right.
he does. You can also smell the wine off of him.
Can I use some physical empathy to see like what his emotional state is at the moment?
Or understand. He is scared. He's scared, he is anxious, he is unsure, he is hopeful. It's a very like mix of emotions. He is clearly conflicted.
When Scott comes up, he'll say, Alexi,
Nods and looks up at you.
what's on your mind, bud? Just me and your wife here.
Like looks at you, takes a moment to think about it, and says, "I can't tell you.
You can't tell me or won't.
I won't tell you. You have to trust me on this one."
Is my room nearby?
Not really, but
Is there a private room?
sure you can find like an.
Yep. I will take them both to a private room.
Alexi, if you're in trouble or if there's something you need,
Something I must do.
What
I know
must you
I am
do,
a
Alexi?
horrible liar, so I'm not gonna even attempt to concoct something, but I will let you know right now. I will not tell you anything.
Alexi. Can I use persuasion to persuade him?
Sure, buddy. You can certainly try.
What would that be, Grunt? What would that hit be? Is it a competition roll?
Yeah, it's a counter.
What's the
roll.
difficulty here? God
Counter roll.
damn it.
You versus Alexi.
How much threat do we have?
3.
Zaz, how much do you actually care?
What's your pool looking like? Imagining you're
What-
rolling communicate.
Yep. Communicate with persuasion. And
Not
probably
bad, but this is Alexi. Like I never know.
so
Take one threat.
All right, one threat.
Because either Alexi will fail or Alexi will roll so many successes, it doesn't matter anyways. You could get 20 dice and succeed on all of them and still fail.
Mm-hmm. When Great uses all 3 threat.
So,
Of course you will.
hey,
That's
listen,
3
you get
threat, 1
XP.
XP.
Yeah, he's be happy about this.
I just need 1 more XP and I will be a happy man.
I wish Peter was still around. That man was an infinite XP generator.
He just
God
stares
damn.
at you and says, "No. You either let me go now, or you can just imprison me. You can torture me. You can sit here and stare at each other while the planet burns."
Oh, Fiala grabs his head at that. She's like, Alexi, what's going on? Are you?
And yeah, he's just shutting down. He'll stare at the floor, not interact with you.
Has the romance of battle taken it out of you?
You see,
The romance of battle?
as the
Not
romance
like
of
the
battle.
book.
Oh, I see what. At you. Just turn around and like try and go out. I'm gonna physically stop him.
Did that hit a nerve?
Fiala was like, Alexi, we're not trying to accuse you of anything. I'm
He
concerned.
flat out walks out.
She's chasing after him now. Looks like Scott, but she's just like, Alexi, you're
Yala,
scaring me.
you
What's?
think he's actually trying to hold tears back as he's like walking away, completely ignoring you.
Fiala will get in front of him. Basically, like, are you? Please, Alexi, what's going on? Are you? I'm worried for you. You're scaring me, and I don't understand.
Scott's just gonna follow behind.
Is this so important?
Yes.
I need it.
Yes.
And you will not tell me anything?
Alexi,
trust me.
Orpheus's death wasn't your fault. Then what are you trying to prove?
I will not.
What would be so bad about telling your best friend and your wife? What do you think is going to happen that hasn't already happened?
He like shakes his head and kind of like tries to push past if you are.
She just asked, like, I just asked for one thing. Just tell me.
Stop at you. Clearly like tears in his eyes.
He's probably holding back her own tears because she doesn't know what it is, but she's very much really scared for him. Says, promise me that you'll come back. Alexi, please promise me that.
And promise I will do my best. Even if you don't, we'll be free. And he just turns around and just fucking bolts like speed walking.
Yeah, this is when Scott would have put a hand on Fiala's shoulder.
She was probably going to go after him before Scott stopped her. She's like, I think he's going to his death. I don't know how, I don't know why, but I think it's because of me.
It's not your fault. Alexi's going to do whatever Alexi wants to do. And I need you to keep it together. He's going in. I don't know what he's going to do. But if he is where he's going to be, where we send him to go, it's probably safer than sending him to Ravenna.
I fear I have some fears, but I'm going to trust that will come back to me at the very least.
This is Alexei. I don't think even an orbital bombardment can kill him. Come on. We'll have some work to do, okay?
You will compose yourself before taking a breath and nodding to Scott at that.
I'm glad one of us is composed. Come on.
Organize. Now the question is, I would say for you to be able to, there's like two options. You have to send at least half of the men you have in the city. 8. And that will basically bog down the enemy more or less, and eventually you'll eke out a victory. If you send basically everyone, like you'll keep like a small defensive unit, but you basically send everyone else. That will ensure that will give you like basically will give Alexei a chance to roll against the enemy commander, and might actually result in a total victory. But it's up to you what you want to achieve and not what you're willing to like risk of your own people.
Yes
That
or
will
no?
advise into sending fewer men.
I was going to say yes or no. Is Alexei a better commander than me? Stat wise?
Better than you? No, because he doesn't have the focus. But he has. It's like he doesn't have the focus that makes him worse. But he's like about as good as you. You have like the focus advantage.
We know that the White Serpents are focusing on other people that currently
Yeah, these are not white serpents
they're
that
not
are
around
marching.
this.
These
Yeah.
are like
Yeah,
those
I know
like
that it's not
shit
the White
units.
Serpents coming from them. I mean, I know that we know the White Serpents aren't currently barreling down on Heraklion.
Yes.
And it's unlikely they'd be able to shift forces before we know about it, and the
Yep.
city we're sending them to is pretty close.
Yes, with the transit system down, yes, you are correct.
Daniel is going to actually speak with Alexei before he makes any concrete decision.
You find him outside as he's getting ready. Some of the men just kind of like he's wearing his full-on battle gear. Looks at you.
Alexei?
My lord, I'm not gonna. I don't know if I will not be swayed. I apologize. As much as I respect you, my lord, I will have to stand my ground even against you.
Was Daniel informed about the little argument everyone had?
I would like to say no because I find it funnier.
Yeah, Daniel will. I have no idea what you're referring to with that. Trust you enough to leave you to your own business.
Thank you, my lord.
Yes.
Genuinely shocked.
I wanted to speak with you. Well, Daniel actually pick up the shock. Is that so surprising? You've succeeded at most everything you've attempted. You survived what to most would have been certain death, riding out of Yorith on a commandeered vehicle.
Nods. My wife and your nephew seem to think otherwise, but I'm glad you believe in me, my lord.
One is your wife, one is your friend. Their perceptions of you is colored by a close relationship. More distant view allows one to have a more objective look on a situation. I hope you will not take offense at their worry for you.
Nods. No offense. To say something to me before I leave, my lord?
Yes, I'm thinking of increasing the amount of men being sent. Dennis has advised me against it, but if there's the possibility of fully securing our western flank, properly supported, and I want you to answer me this honestly, if I'm properly supported with the resources of House Kiz and my own men, do you think you could achieve victory here?
Certainly do my best, my lord. With however many resources, even if you send me alone, I will always strive to do my best. Not an experienced field
Yes.
commander, so I cannot give you a proper strategic answer. Only what I hope to achieve.
I'll put a hand on his shoulder. Well, you're not fighting white serpents here. I'd be surprised if the commander you're up against has that much more experience than you. And this battle here, pivotal. We can secure this flank. We can support our allies. We can refocus our efforts. If they take this city, if they drive House Kiss from their seat of power, Heraklion, my house, your wife, will be completely surrounded. It won't be the end of the war, it won't be the loss of the war. But defeat, at the very least personal loss, becomes much more likely if this threat is allowed to nest so close to us. I'm putting my faith, Lord Vatnik.
My lord,
This battle might not seem like it is going to be pivotal.
he nods as you see the confidence inspire in him. I understand. I do have 2 requests.
Name them.
If I win, I will send the men back, but I myself wish to go and attend the defenses of my own city. And secondly, I want you to ensure that my wife will stay here by your side, be protected and safe.
I do swear, Alexei. I will keep her safe from all threats currently, and I will keep her safe from all threats before the war. I will keep her safe from all threats after the war. For there will be threats after the war.
Nonsense, I know. I plan on making these using them one at a time. My lord, if we see each other after the war, I would like to give you a hug. But until then, I salute you. And he does an actual military salute.
Daniel will return it. And I'd like to roll stirring rhetoric.
Oh, you don't need to roll it. He gave it to him by default. This is exactly the thing he needed right now. As he will turn around and now he actually he knows that you don't send your men to just put so much trust into him. He will do his utmost best. The troops will part.
And Viala say goodbye before
Yes.
he goes, or is
You catch him just as they're leaving, as they're marching out. He looks at you and preparing for you to try and persuade him again. He's like, Takes a deep breath.
There is a smile, a bit sad no matter what, because she doesn't want to see Alexi go, but says, I know you're a stubborn man, Alexi, and I love you for it. So wherever you go, know that I love you and you have my heart forever. You understand?
He nods, smiles, and will lean in to give you a kiss.
She will kiss him as well, and she will hand him a little scarf thing that she has made specifically for him. I would. Well, I can't go with you, Alexei. I'm with you always.
Smiles and nods, and tie his scarf around the blade. Make sure that this will come back to you, one way or another.
She nods.
That take his leave. The regiment moves out of the city. I do some interesting roll. Be very sad if he fucks this up.
I should have went with him.
How much can we give him threat? He does have the reroll.
I'm done letting you buff this man. He needs
He
no
does
help.
have the reroll.
He does. And that's actually very useful right now.
Wish I would have just went with him. It would have been so much easier.
Fiala would have wanted to go too. Died probably, but still.
What the enemy commander rolls. And I'm gonna be a bitch and I'm gonna give the commander one threat.
What you say it?
The enemy commander could always roll a complication.
You
That's
could.
true.
You could also roll.
The more dice you roll, the more likely you are to get a complication.
You could also roll a crit, you know?
Did he just roll a crit?
Maybe Alexis' luck is turning around. Maybe it's time for him to die. Maybe Mac, you wanted this, right? You wanted Alexis to die. I'm sure you wanted.
Mac, you are lying. You literally typed "don't die now" earlier. You fucking liar.
God, this is why we can't trust you with shit.
Just saying. I'm saying. Well,
I just want you guys to look at the Mac chat and then just think, maybe next time there's a ruler, Mac should just be a leader. It would
be funny.
It would be the most funny thing ever. You can't gloat. I'm a different person. I was 1 minute. Get the fuck out of here. Ban this man from chat. I can't stand it anymore.
His problem is Alexis didn't roll a complication, but Lady Key is dead.
You can die. I don't fucking care.
She doesn't need heirs.
Yeah. Reports will come in. An actual bloody battle. As Alexei did perform quite admirably. Problem is, he expected Kiz to actually push back. And Kiz completely pulled back at the time, leaving Alexei alone, outnumbered. And by the time the reinforcements came, it was a bloody battle. The enemy commander wasn't as incompetent, or maybe he just got lucky. And kids do manage to mop up the remaining forces. Question is, would you have sent your forces from Sarak to also like fuck up their city?
Definitely.
Yeah. So, fortunately for you, at the very least, you have captured that one, as they had basically almost no defense against the forces you have there. But the battle was a bloody one. Uh,
I want
Find
that
the
casualty
Lexi.
list.
there is no sign of Alexei. As his will try and still deal with the attackers. They're probably gonna win eventually. Not looking too good though. But there are other news, horrible news. For that, I need to let me just make some notes because there's a lot of things happening.
He's not dead. He said he was going to go somewhere else. He could have just.
I was gonna say, if he rolled the complication, he would have died.
Yeah.
He
could
did
be
say he
captured.
was gonna move on.
Does Daniel tell anyone else that? I don't know if you would, actually. I would ask.
No.
Nope, but I'm not looking forward to giving Fiala that news.
So yeah, the kid's situation is bad because it's a fight you should have won, and it's a fight that now you're just kind of like bogged down with, as your forces have been repelled more or less. It's bad
What's
when
the
two
state of our
armies.
forces? What's the state of our
I would
forces?
say there's like casualties. They're not like completely wiped. They will like fine.
Is it possible to dispatch Scott to assist?
Problem is, by the time you get this, Scott could probably try and help, but you expose Scott to orbital bombardment. I will remind you, because several things are happening at the same time. This is why things are good for now. Let me just roll for Dennis, who plans to poison, or if anyone else wants to roll. Let's say you have espionage, so you can roll yourself.
I do discipline our. How much that do we have?
0.
0. How much momentum do we have?
0.
I'll buy 2 dice using threat. 7 successes.
Shit. That's 2 momentum. Yeah, no, you managed to coordinate the infiltrators and poison the entire supply. As it's one of those poisons that's harder to detect, that you've managed to snatch up. It's not even a poison, Daniel, actually, if you think about it. Apparently it's some sort of weird ass shitty parasite that just stays dormant until it gets activated. You can in fact just infect these people and just put the kill switch whenever you want. Which is gonna be devastating for them. But yeah, no, you get that as Aquila is basically under siege. But they will shortly fall against the superior might of the White Serpents. And the bad news hits you as well, rumors of not rumors, but news from Richmond. No matter how valiant warriors are, when the space laser hits them, there's a lot of people that die. As the city is a ruin. And, well, Artorius is missing or dead or who knows, lost in the chaos. Their army was promptly defeated.
Mac, I hate to tell you, Kosh doesn't control that space laser.
Fortunately for you, there's still a lot of White Serpent casualties. So, as Hades' network reports, it's 1 more White Serpent battalion gone.
So they have like 2 left?
But
I don't think he can control it at all. I don't think he can control it at all, Mac. I think he wants us to think he can control it because is anyone going to believe him if he says, no, that's a third party. It just so happens to be helping me all the time.
Yeah.
If we have
roll
a
for the White
momentum,
Serpents.
I was going to say, Is there any way I can use my ability to help our forces in any way? By buffing their ability?
How? Yeah. Aquileia is fucking gone. They stormed that shit. Hold like 6 successes.
Honestly, good. I was gonna ask if there's anything we can do to sabotage it. We want them to capture the fucking city at this point.
Yeah, no, it's a bloody thing, but they took it. Of course, hungry, wounded armies, poison supplies. It's just wonderful.
So I assume the army immediately starts eating on the supplies because they're starving, right?
Yeah, their supplies are not looking too good. You wait maybe give them like a week,
Nah.
and you're pretty sure you can like kill. Oh, it's like 2 battalions.
Fucking yeah, man.
But yeah, the question is, what are you gonna do with the news about your own forces as Alexei is missing?
With their commander missing, Scott will keep sending letters for Daniel to keep sending them.
Yeah. Daniel will dispatch Scott. We need to wrap up this engagement because we need those men back in Heraklion. They were not meant to stay there in a prolonged battle.
Well, the men are retreating mostly. Like they're not staying there. They're just like
Okay.
they were apparently apparently it was kind of like because they were fucked up and Alexei probably got taken out or something bad happened to him. Like a panic ensued. So the army mostly routed.
Can we try to get them? Can we try to get them more organized?
You could, but you have to send someone down there. And again, you risk the space laser or even like the air units to just fuck you up.
Yeah, I feel like the problem is the Aryan could just fuck up our routed army.
Yeah, but if you send Scott there, then Dennis would advise you to just keep Scott here and let the forces just make their way back. And basically, Dennis would actually say that this would be a perfect opportunity to smuggle Charybdis out, because if they hit your forces, they can't hit Charybdis. And if they hit Charybdis, they can't hit your forces.
Actually do it. That's actually, yeah. Do that. Daniel will give the go-ahead for that operation.
As you pull in, you make the transport for Lord Charybdis. They will in fact bomb transit network itself. It's completely fucking that up as well. As that means your forces will make it back with like minimal casualties. I'll say you probably lost like a quarter of your men, not enough to completely dissolve that, but Yalashin will be unfortunately rather fucked up because clearly they're incompetent at battlefield tactics.
Yeah, at this point, we send an army to help them, and we've also damaged the city of the people who are attacking them this point.
Yeah, they will not lose. They will eventually win it, but it should have been a clear victory.
Daniel is keeping notes of who will be lifted up in the new order, and how kids is not looking good for him.
No, listen, they're like blacksmiths. They're really not good at fighting. But listen, gain one city, and it's an actual intact.
At this point, Daniel, have we informed Fiala that her husband is missing?
No.
If you don't mind.
Yeah. I'll inform her.
All right.
It was in the end of the day, it was my decision to send Alexei. If he has perished, it was my responsibility for it.
You gather everyone in the office.
The army has made it back in good order. There have been casualties. Alexei has not returned with them. He's not been reported deceased, but he is missing in action.
I I see.
He's gotten out of the impossible before Fiala. I wouldn't write him off yet.
You see, there's a knock at the door as Dennis walks in with a rather, very, actually like a sad look on his face. He has
Dennis?
a box in his hands. Lord, we've tallied up most of the survivors, gotten a few field reports. Also been given this by one of the lieutenants. And he'll place the small box on the table. And as he opens
Man.
it, it's a bloody looking scarf.
Dennis, did this lieutenant see a body? Report him wounded?
Said the young lord led the charge, the front lines.
Scott will turn to Fiala. Unless there's a body, he's not dead. Okay?
Fiala hasn't even turned to look at anyone else. She's just staring at that scarf. And unless someone stops her, she's gonna.
The scarf is
carefully
clearly like it's not. It's only like part of it. It's not like complete, right? Clearly been like ripped apart or like cut open.
He grabs it and holds it tight as she kind of like nods, vaguely hearing Scott's words.
Fiala, go to your room. Get some rest. Okay? I'll
Of course.
see you later.
Of course, I must retire. Forgive me.
And when she leaves the room, Scott is going to contact his wife to go comfort Fiala.
Her best. As she like leaves, looks at you and truly sad. I liked Lord Watnick.
Daniel, looking at the box. Providence has
Sorry, go ahead.
Providence has gotten him out of near certain death before. His luck may have finally ran out, but until a body is found, if anyone could have gotten out of that situation, it would have been him.
He nods and says, I will have my spies keep an eye out in case he reemerges somewhere else.
Thank you, Dennis.
Question: Have we acted the
So,
kill switch yet for the parasites?
because you have to wait, like, the more
Yeah.
you wait, the more damage it will.
How many lives do you think we should exchange for him if he is dead? How many white serpents could we kill?
Would kill them all.
Indeed, but some of them will have to wait.
Let them
Inform
rest.
me. Yeah, inform me when you think the optimal time has passed, Dennis.
Nods.
Let them choke on this victory.
Yeah. He'll nod and take his leave.
Daniel will not move now. He will look at the box.
I liked him
So-
too, Dan.
I do not think he's gone. He had something he was working on, something he was going to accomplish. He told me he might not return, even if the army was victorious. Where he will go exactly, I cannot say, but I do not think he is gone. All the better for his enemies to think he's dead. They will not, wherever he's going, whoever he's planning to face, they won't expect a ghost to put a sword in their back.
Whether he's alive or not, he's not part of the war effort, and I've lost too many friends to be optimistic. At this point, it really is just me at this rate.
Scott, this war is over, and the immediate means of rebuilding have been settled. I may be leaving for a time. I'm not retiring my post or my position. There is would visit the world that my father is buried on. During that time, of course, the leadership of the house will fall to you.
You don't talk about him. Why visit him now?
I despised him when he was alive. No matter what I could do, no matter what I did, I was a blot in his gaze. He always looked to my brother. My brother was the one that he wanted to succeed him. He groomed him for leadership. Perhaps he didn't hate me, though. He didn't leave me without. None of the family was far less wealthy back then. We'd not reached the heights I would establish. Perhaps the hostility, the hatred, the distance I saw in the men. Perhaps that was something of my own creation. Perhaps he never meant me ill will. Perhaps he loved me. Same vein, perhaps your brother never intended any slights. Perhaps when your brother reached out to me, when your father reached out to me, he meant it. Perhaps he actually wanted to mend bridges. Perhaps he didn't mean to insult me. Perhaps he didn't mean to scorn me, to look down on me. I was there when your father died, Scott.
Scott just stares at you, And this is like an actual Daniel background. Would you have told Scott any differently? Like you were just not there, you didn't make it in time, or anything like
Yeah,
that?
he would have told. Yeah, the story has always been he arrived too late to help his brother.
You were there in the sense you got there too late, right?
I could have saved him. I did not kill him, but I could have saved him. I imagined a web of deceit and lies that he would do the same to me, that he would see me dead if our positions were swapped, but not sure anymore. And then when my father was in grief, when he was mourning the death of one of his sons, I had Dennis move against him. We rallied his officers. Those that we couldn't rally, we removed. And in my father's hour of grief, I had him exiled to some nameless planet history will not remember. He died there. Alone, without family. And it wasn't enough that I watched my brother die. It wasn't enough that I ruined my father. I took it against his children. No one could contest the will while I had it. There's a chance, Scott, that I won't come back. And it's a chance that either I will die in the war, there's a chance that if I leave, I won't come back. I needed to make sure you knew about this. I planned for if the worst happened that Fiala would tell you, but he looks back at the box. Can't be sure who will make it out anymore. And this isn't a secret I'd like to take to my grave. Not anymore.
Answer me one question. When you picked me from the family, was it out of necessity? Was it looking for some sense of redemption?
There was no redemption for it. You were the best out of all of them. You were best. You were better than the rest of them by far. If there was a person with even half skill, I picked them over you. You look a lot like him. You probably don't remember him. You were young. When I look at you, it is like I look at a ghost returned.
Do you think he would have been proud?
He would hate me now. He would hate what I've done. He never would have made these decisions. He never would have worked with the Talaxia. He'd hate me for what I turned his son into. He was always a more he never had the stomach for violence. He could commit it when he had to, but he was never as quick to resort to it as me or Denna.
I guess I'm a little too much like him, huh?
Despite it all, you are much like him, yes. You've taken greatly after a man you've never met.
Scott will actively look at you for the first time.
Daniel's making the point that he is not looking at you while he's talking.
I don't hate you, Daniel. I didn't know my father. And I remember my mother much less. I remember words, and I remember yelling, and I remember arguments, but I didn't know him. I wish I did. But ghosts can't hurt you. As far as I'm concerned, you're the only father I've known. For better or worse. Whatever I am, it's because you raised me to be it. If you feel guilt now in your age, then you don't have a right to walk away. We just killed tens of thousands of people, and you got to live with that. You want to make it up to him? Make it right for the people who are left behind. Ghosts don't matter. People do. And as for, then he gestures to the box for the first time, where Elios is. Nothing can kill us but us. Not to the Talaxu, not the Bene Gesserit, not the Emperor himself. We make it through.
We will be victorious here.
No more putting me on the bench, Daniel. If I'm not there, people are going to start dying. Alexei proved that.
He is dead. We'll avenge him. Lord Artorius is dead. We'll avenge him as well. We'll avenge Silax. We'll avenge Alita. And the son that never was.
Talaxi are going to tell boogeymen stories about you by the time the war is done.
Not just Kosh I plan to kill. I have resources, and when I am authority over this world, when we are put in a position of authority over this world, I cannot make an oath for you, but it will be my life's work. I will see the Talaxu humbled for this. And if the Bene Gesserit get in the way, I'll do the same to them.
Scott gives... Sorry, continue.
Not going to let anyone stand in my way. Not a revered mother, not a master. The Emperor himself in the Sardaukar. I'll rise and face all challenges. That's what I have to do. Alexei believed in a better world, and perhaps he rubbed off on me.
Careful there, Daniel. Your heart is showing.
There's a knock at the door, interrupting this as Dennis walks himself in. Heard one of Hades' spies has good news, although surprising news to read.
What is it?
We thought Richmond was blown to pieces. Are all the people inside? The things are quite different. The knights managed to get away. I'm not exactly sure about the details of how, when, why, but Hades has informed that they are in fact fighting in the city of Laris, further to the east. And reports indicate that they're winning. With the forces in Targa gone, surely it's only a matter of time until they get to it as well.
Daniel smile. Perhaps their faith in their Lord isn't misplaced after all. Seems he's pulled out a miracle for them.
Seems so.
All we need is just a few more battalions and we can push them back. On all fronts. We just gotta wait a little longer.
2 weeks. There will be no white serpents left outside of the city of Castrum.
Presents an issue. There's still other defensive armies, and we will have few in the way in our own capabilities to attack. We can still extend the war with this.
In most of the cities have been crashed.
Yeah, Daniel's more or less saying that because we were told, hey, don't decisively win.
Well, Castrum is still like a fucking fortress.
That's what I mean. Like, we don't actually have the forces to, I think, properly take Castrum. So, yeah, Daniel was weighing it like, will this win the war? No, because then we have to still take Castrum, and they can just shoot us from the orbit.
Mm-hmm.
This is good. This is good.
The time is ready. I shall pull the trigger on the white serpents. Then we have everything in the bag.
Do you know where the whereabouts are of Cassia and Lady Ravenna?
Shakes his head.
I'd like to find out where they are, or if they're even still alive. I doubt they would have. I doubt they would have stayed without any means to escape. And Daniel will look back to Scott. Besides, if there is a succession crisis, you are married to her niece. You are married to her Lady Ravenham's niece.
Yep. And if we install her, there's not many people who can stop us. At this rate.
Plan for after the war, when we have to fight the next one.
Of course. Is there anything else you need from me, my lord?
No, you are dismissed, Scott.
And yeah, Scott will probably just go to his wife in Fiala.
Would Fiala accept the comforting that Atea can hang out with you, basically? Like, be left alone?
I think she wouldn't. She would be fine with that. Basically, she probably finds her in her room. She's wholly gone to the handkerchief, basically, probably praying or saying some other things. But once she comes in, she tries to compose herself and will accept her.
She is not a very like intrusive person. She'd like literally sit there with you, maybe like ask you a couple of questions, but just hold your hands, try to assure you that there's always hope. Thing we can do now is trust that maybe manage to survive the battle. He's wounded, maybe somewhere in some tent, lost. Only a matter of time until we find him. Trying to kind of like build up any sort of hope she could.
Yeah. Fiala just like kind of nods, understanding what she's trying to do. Like, I know. My worry is also, what if he is wounded out there? Is he all right? Is he getting help? Is he taking care of himself?
Yeah. Scott, was there any like actual conversation you would like to have with Fiona?
Nope, not really. Just being a comforting friend as a person who also knew and cared about Alexei.
With news that, well, apparently Richmond was bombed, but hey, the army got away somehow. We'll end the session there.